Hello, hi. Welcome to Code with Vijay. My name is Vijaynath Vishwanathan. I'm working as a senior software developer. So this is my personal blog, codewithvijay.com. You can find me on GitHub and Twitter as well. So today you are here to learn AWS Identity Access Management, or IAM. So as the name indicates, identity access management is basically to manage identity, or basically to manage users, like creating users, creating groups, creating policies, creating different levels of permission to users, or provide multi-factor authentication, or say provide temporary access for users, devices and services when necessary, allow to set up own password rotation policy, or integrate with many different AWS services, or say create centralized control of AWS account, or shared access of AWS account, or giving granular permissions, temporary permissions, or identity federation. So all those different kind of permissions is basically handling by identity access management. So that comes under security part of AWS console. So let's just straight jump into the lab. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start everything from scratch. Basically, I'm going to create a user and giving different roles and permission to the user, and going to create groups, and we'll show how to give permissions to connect to different AWS services, and all those things I'm going to start from the very scratch. Okay, so let's jump into AWS console. So I've just logged into my AWS console. So I hope you already have an AWS account created. If not, please go and create one, because we need AWS account. Basically, we need AWS console to proceed with this course. Okay. So after you create your AWS account, one thing you should remember is to select your region. Okay, that will make your AWS much faster. Select a region which is near to your location. So at present I live in London, so I've selected London as my location. So if you're living if you're in different country, say if you're in India, you can select Mumbai. So Mumbai AWS has a data center, so you can select your location accordingly. If you're not familiar with AWS console, this is how AWS console looks like. um, AWS, they have n many different services. Each one is supposed to do different things. uh, for example, say in storage service, they have S3, that is symbol storage service, basically to store files and other objects. Or say in compute service, they have say lambda. Okay, that is serverless concept of AWS. Okay, and see in database service they have RDS, that is relational database service. They have DynamoDB and many other things. But the one we are interested in today is IAM, that comes under security. Okay, so let me jump into IAM page. So this is how identity and access management page looks like. Okay, so if you notice here, when you select identity access management, the region changes to global. So it means identity access management is handling globally. You don't need to select in location. In fact, you can't select in location. Okay, so everything is disabled. So it means identity access management is handling globally. Okay, so okay, this is your IAM user sign in link. Okay, so this number here, which is not really a random generate number, that is basically your account ID. Okay, So we can go and check your account and you can see the same ID as your account ID, but we can customize. We can give a custom name instead of account ID. So click on customize, and you have to give a name. Say I'm going to give Vijay. That is there. Okay, that's already taken. So let me give V, not V. Okay, create. Yeah, that's already that's available. So now when I look, that account ID has changed to your custom name. Okay, and now you can see we don't have any users, we don't have any groups or roles or identity providers, or we don't have any customer managed policies, but we are going to create everything. Also we can see 5 different security status settings here. So we already have root access keys created. So basically root access is your login username. Okay, that will give root level permissions, so that's already there. So we are going to activate or creating, we are going to create each one of these. Okay, so let's go to the first one, that is activate MFA. MFA is multi-factor authentication on your root account. So as I've mentioned, root account basically means the login username or email ID which you have logged into your account, that will have root level of access. So you can do many different things, say run 10 virtual machines in EC2, or add different users to access files on S3. So all that kind of things you can do with root access or with root account. So let's see what is activate multi-factor authentication means. Basically, say your username and password has been stolen, and somebody go to your account. Okay, if you're not enabling multi-factor authentication, they can log in to your account with your username and password. Okay, so the reason we are enabling multi-factor authentication is to get rid of such security hassles. Okay, basically you can set up a token in your mobile, or a hard token, basically a device which can generate token for you. Okay, so that device, if it is soft token or hard token, no matter what, that will basically create an authentication code. So you have to provide that authentication code as well, along with your username and password. So that is what multi-factor authentication does. Okay, let's see how to set up that. So click on manage MFA. Okay, that will take you through this one. Okay, as I've mentioned, either we can go with virtual MFA, that is nothing but a soft token. Okay, or you can go with a hardware, that's an MFA device. Okay, so I'm going with virtual MFA device. Okay, click on next step. Okay, so to activate a virtual MFA device, you must first install an AWS MFA compatible application on the user's smartphone, PC, or other device. You can find the list of AWS MFA compatible applications here. Let's go there. Okay, after the application is installed, click next step to configure the virtual MFA. So let's go to the page. So this is where you can install your virtual MFA. If you're using Android, you can download from Play Store, and iPhone you can download from Apple Store, or if you're using Windows Phone, we can download from Windows Store and BlackBerry as well. Anyway, so for Android and iPhone, either we can go ahead with Google Authenticator or OT two-factor authentication. Okay, so as I'm using Android phone, I'm going ahead with Google Authenticator. Okay, let me click on that one. Okay, for Android devices here, so to use Google Authenticator on device, it must be running Android version 2.1 or later. Okay, so let me go and download that now. So after you download your corresponding mobile apps, and after you set up, come back to IAM page, and when we click next, you should be able to see a QR code. So we have to scan that from your mobile. So let me open my mobile screen here. So this is my mobile screen. I'm going to add, I've already installed Authenticate before, so I'm going to scan the barcode. Okay, now let me come back here, and I'm going to scan that. So that is scanned, and now it is asking to enter two consecutive authentication code. So let me open my mobile. This is the one which I've generated, so I'm going to sorry, enter that. So the second one generated just now, there's this one. Now I'm going to enter the one which is 871081. That's the first one, and I'm waiting for the second one to generate. It'll take few seconds. I'm still waiting for the one. So the second one generated. I'm entering that as well. Activate MFA. So now your device has been successfully associated for multi-factor authentication, and click finish. And when you refresh the page now, you should be able to see that's checked. So that setup is complete now. So next we'll go to the next one, that is creating individual IAM users. That is nothing but to create different users and attach that users to different groups. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Expand and click manage users. So that will take you to this page, and it will have a button add user. So we click on that. So basically we need to give a username. So I'm going to give Vijay Nath. Okay, let me add two users. Okay, next one is Nath V. Okay, so there are two different ways to access users. One is programmatic access. So basically programmatic access means you can connect the services through programs, basically an API call. If you're selecting programmatic access, basically AWS will create an access token, basically an access key ID and secret access key. You need that key to be there to connect programmatically from say you're creating an application, and from that application you are calling a REST service, and if you want to connect AWS services through that REST service, then you need access ID and secret access key. And the next one is AWS Management Console. That's the same that we are doing now. This window, this is Management Console. Okay, so for that, basically it needs a username and password to connect that AWS will create when we are creating the user. Okay, so now let's select both. Okay, so programmatic access and AWS management console. Okay, so now it's either we can go ahead with a custom password, or we can go ahead with auto generated password. So I'm leaving it like that, auto generated password, and required password reset. So after AWS created auto generated password, next time when user logs into the application, user can reset the password, or when you select that, actually user should reset the password. Okay, I'm leaving it like that, and I'm clicking next button. So now we can see, we can sorry. So now we can see set permissions for Vijaynath and Vinath V. Okay, now there are different options. We can add that users to a group, or copy permission from an existing user, or we can attach existing policies directly. So what I'm going to do is to add the users we have created here to a group. Okay, so click create group button. That will take you through this one. So basically we have to give a group name. Okay, so I'm going to add those users to system admin. Okay, so these all these are existing policies already created by Amazon. So let me find a role for admin here, or say system administrator. Okay, so as we can see, grant full access permission necessary for resource if required. So there's a way to see the policy. Basically there's a JSON file here that represents the policy. So this one you can see the effect allow, and for system admin it will have all these different permission allowed. Say for example, say in EC2 register an image. Okay, or say all get privilege in Lambda service. Okay, so now let me search for another one. Say administrator access. So let's see the policy of that one. So when you expand the JSON file, so yeah, this is effect allow. It's very simple. Action everything, resource everything. So this is more or less similar to a super user access. Okay, I'm going to give that level of permission to the user I've created. Maybe you don't need to give full permission to your system admin, but anyway, I'm going to give full permission to my system admin. Basically trust my system admins. So I'm selecting that one. Okay, and click create group. Okay, now the group has been created. You can see we have created the group system admin, and the policy we have attached is administrator access. So now click next. Okay, so these are our usernames. Okay, and this is the group, and click create users. We have already created users, so okay, so you can see here these are the users we have created. Okay, you can see three different things here: access key ID, secret access key, and password. So access key ID, this one, and secret access key, we need both these keys to connect programmatically. So basically we can't connect programmatically with username and password. So this is the auto generated password. Okay, so we can connect username and password. Sorry, we can connect to uh, AWS Console using username and password, but we can't connect programmatically with username and password. To connect programmatically, we need access key ID and secret access key. Okay, sorry, and we can send an email to the user, by mentioning, say, an account creator for you, and user can log in. And the first login, as we have mentioned, to reset password, user should reset password when they log in the first time. Okay, so let's expand this one. So you can see created user Vijaynath, and yeah, basically that user can change password, because automatically attached to use IAM use change password policy, and this is the policy we have created, and we have attached this user to this policy. That was a step we did before. Okay, so once this create, we can download that CSV file, and we can save somewhere safely. Okay, so now the user creation has been successfully completed. Okay, now let's close this one. It will take us back to this one. So we can see we have created this username, and we have attached that user to one group, and that user hasn't signed sign in yet. So once the user sign in, it will show the last sign in time, and that user has one access key. That's one which I've shown before, and this is the creation time. Okay, that's pretty much we can do in this window. Okay, now let us create a different group. Okay, click groups here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is to create a different group and assign the user, one of the users we have created, to newly created group, and delete that user from the group we have already assigned. That's what I'm going to do. So click new group. Okay, and group name, say example finance. Okay, and next up, and say I want to set a policy for that group, and say I want all my finance users to give permission to read S3 files. Okay, so basically that's a policy I want to do. Search for S3 and say S3 full access. Okay, next step, and create group. So we have created a new group, that is finance. Now let me remove the user Vijaynath from system admin. Okay, so click here, and when you go there, click users, and say remove Vijaynath from this group. Okay, and remove from this group. So now we have removed Vijaynath from system admin group. Now let me go and add Vijaynath to newly created group, that is finance group. So click groups and click finance, that's one we have created, and add users to group. Okay, so the users we have created is listing here. Select Vijaynath from there and add users. Now let's see what permissions the user Vijaynath has. So click on permissions. We can see the user Vijaynath has already Amazon S3 full access. The reason because we have created a finance group and we have attached the user Vijaynath to finance group, and finance group has a policy to have full access to S3. So that's the reason we are able to see this policy for the user Vijaynath. Now, what if we need to give an individual permission to a user instead of adding it through a group? Say, for example, Vijaynath is a specialist in database. Okay, so I want to give on top of S3 full access. Say I want to give him access to database service. Okay, so that's not a group level permission, but I'm going to give an individual permission to the user. So how we can do that? Click on users. Okay, click on Vijaynath. Okay, we can see his existing permissions. Okay, so basically Vijaynath can change his password and he has full access to S3. Okay, now I want to add an inline policy, that is individual permission to the user. Okay, click add inline policy here. Okay, sorry, that is not inline policy. Let me cancel this one. That is add permission. So when I click add permissions, we have seen this window before, so I'm going to attach users to existing policies directly. So click on this one and we can search for a policy. So say if I want him to give access to RDS, okay, say RDS full access, select that one, next, and give add permission. So now if you see the user Vijaynath has full access to RDS as well. Okay, now let's go to security credentials, and we can check how we can make the existing access key ID inactive. Say if somebody stolen the existing access key, and if I want to make it inactive and if I want to generate a new one, I can do it. So make inactive, so that particular access key is now inactive, and click on create access key. So that will create another one. Okay, so this is a newly created access key ID and this is a secret access key. Okay, close, and we can see this is a newly created one. Okay, now let's see groups. So we have added Vijaynath to only one user groups, that is finance, and the user group finance has full access to S3. Now we go back to our dashboard. We can see we have created individual IAM users and we have created groups and assigned permission to that one. So the only one left is IAM password policy. That is pretty straightforward. Let's go into that. So these are the different password policies. Say minimum length of password, say I mentioned that should be 8 sorry, and my password require at least one uppercase character and say at least one number, and say password expression requires administration restore. Okay, I don't want that. Okay, you can select according to your choice. Okay, so and click apply password policy. Okay, and when we go back to our dashboard, we can see that as well checked. So we have completed all 5 security status. So before wrapping up this, I want to show one more thing, that is to create roles. So this one, so basically I can create a role and I can give that particular role to have permission to one of the AWS services. Say I'm going to give a role, say lambda access. Okay, and so that was that one is to create a new role. Okay, let me cancel this one. Okay, create a new role and select say lambda. Okay, and suppose say I want this lambda service, say lambda execute, and next step, and we have to give a role name that is lambda access. Okay, and click create role. Okay, now let me go back to the dashboard. We can see we have created one roles, we have created two users, and we have created two groups. So that is pretty much high level of identity and access management service. Thank you.